No one wants a reputation of having bad slide designs. One of the most common questions I get is, what is bad slide design? Hey everyone, I'm Jennifer Sharkey, presentation and public speaking consultant. Let's take a look at 3 common mistakes using real-life examples and see how to design better alternatives. At the end of the video, I will reveal the most common mistake you absolutely need to avoid. Bad design example number 1, outdated design elements. This slide is using a banner style header that was common, well, many years ago. With an outdated design, the audience subconsciously questions your expertise and authority. Coupled with the side-by-side text and image, this slide lacks visual appeal. While outdated design isn't a deal breaker, other design mistakes on this slide moves it from an okay design to a bad design. The all caps text makes it hard to read, and the image with text competes with the actual text on the slide. As a presenter, you want to create an emotional connection with the audience. The right image is a great way to do that. Here's 2 examples that convey emotion and more clearly communicates the message. The first example is a high-quality image conveying the emotion of anxiety, and the text is just a heading and definition. The audience can then focus on the more in-depth information you want to provide. Example number 2 uses animation, color, and an image to communicate the concept of anxiety. The animation allows you to focus on specific information as you are speaking. The colored text boxes together with the image evokes that feeling of being weighed down with worry. Bad design example number 2, ineffective text overlay on an image. While this slide is using a more contemporary slide design, the text is too difficult to read on the image. Where the slide designer went wrong was not adjusting the image transparency enough. Another issue with this slide is the image is a mismatch with the message. What does archery have to do with client support? Here are 2 design examples that better convey this message. It's important to remember that you don't always need an image to effectively convey your message. On this slide, icons and colored shapes segment the content in an easy-to-digest visual. If you really want to use an image, adding background fill to the text box is more effective than trying to make the image transparent. This image is also in alignment with the message. Bad design example number 3, misalignment of content and design. This example is a common design suggestion from PowerPoint Designer. While I use Designer regularly, I also want not to use it. For tips to use PowerPoint Designer effectively, click the card to learn more. The content on this slide clearly indicates a process or timeline. Whenever you can, always opt for a graphical representation when presenting this type of content. Here are 2 examples to convey the slide content better. The first example uses a numerical visual to identify the next steps of the process. The animation allows you to talk about each step individually. The second example uses a timeline and clearly identifies each milestone date. Again, the animation allows you to talk about each date individually. For both examples, the use of color from red to green also conveys forward movement. And now for the most common slide design mistake: too much text. This is by far the most common mistake a presenter makes, and this irritates me more than anything. It is completely unnecessary. Hold on, what about someone who is deaf or hard of hearing, you may ask? Yes, those individuals may not hear what you are saying, but that still doesn't mean you should have text-heavy slides. Here's why. 1, if you're using good slide design, anyone should be able to quickly identify the basic message of the content. 2, always provide a handout with more in-depth information, and you can actually include your script. 3, use closed captionings on your virtual presentations and videos. And 4, If you know an audience member is deaf, make arrangements for an interpreter if they ask for one. Okay, back to the example. This presenter is clearly going in depth on this point, and that's okay to go in depth during a presentation. It's kind of the reason why you're giving the presentation, right? You just don't need to put it all on one slide at the same time. For in-depth content, break it up over several slides and provide a handout. In this redesigned slide, it includes just the two core concepts. It focuses the audience attention and prepares them for more in-depth content. The second slide focuses on subpoints of one of the core concepts, and the third slide highlights the other core concepts' subpoints. The use of animation allows you to talk about each point individually. By the way, this last example template is from SlidesGo, and all of these elements were part of the template. So again, there was no need to put all of that text on one slide. Continue watching for more slide design tips and tricks.